Hey everyone, with Summer Helena probably coming out in a few weeks, people are thinking about what they want to spend their Visior on. So for example, with Dark Fina, you might have really wanted her, but now you kind of want to hold off because Swimsuit Helena looks pretty good. I mean, honestly, she really does. And there's other limited units that are on the horizon. So I figured, why don't we do a little bit of a preview? This isn't like a full should you pull, it's more of like, is she worth saving for? We're gonna go through her kit, we'll make a determination, and that will be it. Let's start by looking at her master ability and her TMR, and the master ability is fine. There's innate magic resist penetration there. That is really good. Love to see it. The rest of it is, you know, not special. She's got your basic 3 move, 1 jump, whatever. And then her TMR is kind of, you know, it's not needed. It's nice though. So this is totally something that you might use, you know, increase your magic human killer, and it has 2 casts. It's all really good. It's not really going to break into the top tier TMR list of you know, what you're using to, you know, spice up your guild battle. It's usually to supplement your survivability or increase your agility or something like that. So it's a fine TMR. It's going to be great for new players. It's not going to, you know, it's not something that you want to pull for just to have it. Her stats look pretty good. When we go down to the bottom here, we can see it all laid out. So 542 magic is fine, but she also gets a 60% magic passive. Her HP is good for a caster. Her agility is decent at 65. That's kind of mid-range. And then her dexterity and luck aren't bad either. Her resistances are fine. So slash resist 10% is just a pretty average starting point at this point in the game. Weak to strike means nothing. 15% missile is good, and 10% magic is also, like, you know, it's fine. 0% to pierce is interesting. A lot of units that are out right now have, you know, kind of a negative resistance to pierce, or maybe they just don't have a lot of pierce resistance you know, baked in. So that's actually kind of a sneaky tech against a lot of units. It might be a good way to kill her. Do we have any earth pierce units? We're gonna move right along to her kit. We're not gonna talk about everything, but Enchanted Mermaid, wow, okay, 60% magic buff, and then decrease HP 5%. I'll take it. Noble Passion, 12% agility, 12 spirit. Again, I'll take it. You equip those 2, done. Thorn of Roses, counter chance, 20%, 50% magic based neutral damage, and the range is pretty good. I mean, you're going to use that, or you're going to use Paladin Guard if you're targeting physical teams. It's an interesting counter for sure. I actually like it. And then her basic attack is magic based, but there's basically no space for it. They have to be right in front of her, so you know, that's whatever. She has to face them even. Okay, so her main kit, this looks really good. It's all instant cast. Look down on the left side, it's all instant cast. The AP costs are actually all generally pretty low. It's all magic based attacks so far. Let's look at the specific skills. So Beach Ball, it's your bread and butter attack, but it restores her CT. That's actually pretty good. Rose Heal is going to be a self curata that she can use. It's on her main kit. That's the important part. So at the beginning of a guild fight too, she could actually heal herself to full, no problems at all. That's a really nice skill to have just for when she needs it. Then she has her first 100% hit attack, this Deep Sea Impact. The range on it is okay. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, but then it has a 100% hit, and then it also decreases evasion rate, so the rest of your units can go ahead and hit too. Magical Season is a big AoE buff, attack and magic buff. We don't know what this last effect is, but it's already a decent skill. Whatever this is, I'm sure is going to be really neat too. Then we have the Magic of Summer. This is the skill that everybody's super into because it ignores courage, but more importantly, it's a big AoE and it has a 25% chance to inflict stop. Now, if you put stop on a unit, they're done. They're not part of the fight anymore. You're going to win the fight. So that's a really big deal. And then her job level 25 skill is an AoE 100% hit chance that also heals herself. It's a really good skill. It's also instant cast, and it also can't be reflected apparently. So that's kind of a big deal for fighting against Celis, and the fact that she's lightning is also really good. This seems like a really great main kit. Now there is a weakness here, and don't you think that old Mysidia is not going to catch it? Because I did. I got it. Okay. Every single one of these skills and all of the rest of her skills have range height 1. That's it. Every single skill has range height 1. Now these AoEs, they have range height 1 and they have AoE height 1, which means that if she targets a square 1 height above her, it will also spread to 2 height above her from the AoE. Now if someone is, higher than that, if there's 2 height difference between them, then she can't hit them. Now, on certain maps, that means that she's going to be wandering around like a lost child in a mall. On most maps, she's going to be fine with these AoEs, but it does mean that she has less range than a lot of units do. So it is something to keep in mind. It's one little weakness. Then her sub job, let's take a look at that. This is really interesting. So a lightning resistance penetration, that's actually pretty cool because now we're seeing with the amount of penetration in the meta, for example, with the dark meta right now, you actually don't build slash resistance, you build dark resistance. So for units to start having resistance penetration is a big deal. And then 40% magic attack resist penetration, that puts her at 60, not including any sort of other equipment or stuff that you have on her loadout. So this is a really good skill that you actually would really like her to use in a lot of situations. And then we have an Abyss Break, which is a decent skill that has a 38% imperil for magic resist to bring the rest of your casters into the fold. And I like this a lot. Now, we've seen magic imperils before, but they usually have cast times and they're slow, and the rest of the kit sub job options are too good to use. This one's good because it's single target instant cast and it takes effect immediately. This is actually a really enticing sub job. White Mage is next, and really what we're looking for is, do we have Full Life or do we have Curaga? We have Curaga. So again, that's a really nice option, and then we don't have Full Life, but we do have, Protect and Shell and Curata. So Curaga and Curata, it means that, and again in guild fights, that she could do some healing. I've used, Classy Glassy that way to great effect when she first came out. This is a solid sub job to have, and it will get upgraded at some point, I'm sure. Then Paladin sub job, and does she have the Immortal Spirit? Yes, she does. So she has Courage. The rest of this, not a huge deal. Saintly Healing, it would be a big deal if she didn't already have a self-heal on her kit, so she doesn't really need this. But then Sentinel is kind of interesting, maybe for live. That's an interesting buff to use for live PvP. The rest of it doesn't really matter. The thing is that as good as Immortal Spirit is, I'm kind of wondering if we're going to be using this sub job, her own sub job, just because it has this magic attack resistance penetration. I guess what really matters is, are you taking on matchups where your opponents, have bad magic resistance, or are you taking on matchups where there's a tank that has good magic resistance, and that will kind of decide how you want to play it. Finally, we have her Limit Burst. It's really good. So it's got a very high AP cost, but look at this AoE, okay? Big ol' AoE. It's still range height 1 though, and it decreases AoE resistance by 30% and it dispels shell. So this is really nice for taking out Celis. It can't be reflected. This is a really cool skill, especially if she has a bunch of penetration stacked. It's going to be killing people. And the cool thing is that it enables your whole lightning squad, right? So if Cloud comes in with a barrage, it's going to do way more damage to everybody because their AoE resist is imperiled, but it doesn't have to be a lightning unit. It could be any unit opposed to like Helena. Her limit burst is, Black Rose Helena. Her limit burst is best served, with a dark team at her side. This can work with a lot of different units. I really like it. All right, and just to show how those two passives actually affect her, so I put on her two specific job passives. Her magic goes up to 749 before any sort of equipment or espers or anything, and her agility goes up to 71, so those are nice starting points for sure. But here's the thing, I'm kind of looking at her kit now and I'm realizing that she doesn't have any AoE resistance, and she doesn't have, any single target resist or really too much defense or spirit, except for from her passives. So I'm kind of wondering if she's going to be dying a little bit more easily than, say, Dark Fina or, someone like Sadly. I think she might actually be kind of easier to kill, which makes me think that Immortal Courage might be a big deal. Maybe the magic resist penetration and the lightning penetration, those are kind of win more. Like, should be in matchups that she should succeed in, and if you're shoehorning her in to beat a magic tank, then maybe you should just be playing a different unit. I don't know. yeah, it's going to be something to play around with, because that's kind of an important part about these units, is that they can survive some hits. And at least with some of the other units, like I was just bashing Summer Katone for not having, you know, AoE, or not being able to survive, but I mean, she can get some like Joker levels AoE resist pretty easily and survive probably better than Summer Helena can. Okay, so here is our Summer Helena checklist in a Word document, and we can see all the great stuff that she brings. So I think what we're getting here is offensively a very strong unit. You know, innate magic resist penetration, big magic stat. She can actually imperil magic resistance if she needs to. She's got multiple 100% hits and decreasing evasion, stop, all this stuff. The self-heal, if she survives, the ignore courage, but then the ability to give herself courage. There's a bunch of stuff here that I really like. And there's units that we thought in the past. So for example, people thought with Ibarra, who was also a lightning mage, you know, people thought, well, you know, she's such a strong damage dealer, but she'll die pretty easily. I mean, I even kind of thought that about Helena as well, but that hasn't stopped Ibarra from being pretty impactful, like pretty solid unit. So I don't think it's going to affect Summer Helena too much, and Summer Helena does have courage, which is probably something you're going to want to get up and running pretty quickly. But at the end of the day, I'm actually like really in the middle here. I thought when I started this video that I was going to recommend that you save for her, but I'm really unsure. I think what I've kind of come to the conclusion here is that I need to do more research. I need to do more, you know, maybe some build calcs and some damage calculations and stuff, and kind of maybe come back to you with that information, because right now, because she's someone that I'm considering pulling for, I'm not sure if I would or not. At the end, I can at least say that she is a good unit. I just don't know how good a unit she's going to be, especially because we already have a lot of lightning units, and there's even more coming on the horizon. So, you know, for lightning players, you might already be set. Although I will say the fact that she has multiple skills that can't be reflected, and the fact that she can, you know, really go after evasion, that might be something that lightning players really want to add to their toolkit. So I'm kind of curious what you all think, like, you know, if there's something that I'm missing here, if, you know, if you're just really hyped for her anyway, or, you know, you think that her offensive capabilities like far outweigh her defensive capabilities. Let me know. I'm curious. Let me know if you're going to be pulling for her or what. And then otherwise, I'll see you all in the next video.